Hello everybody and welcome. This is the first inaugural episode of Top Tier Tutorials. My name is Danurai and I'm joined by the wonderful, the beautiful Mr. Richsticks. How you doing today, buddy?
Very good, man.
So, Richsticks, the first thing we're going to do is give you a bit of an introduction. So in case you don't know, let them know who you are.
Alright, well, yeah, I'm Rich. You know, I've been competing since, I want to say, the beginning of 2019. But yeah, ever since then, it's been going pretty well. I'm out here playing Maxi. That's my main, but I do play other characters like growing as well. Despite popular belief, Maxi is my main, and yeah, I'm just here to bring out a tutorial on him.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, we do have a few sections to go through to make this as in-depth of a tutorial as possible. And the first section we're going to move to is Playstyle. So, Richsticks, give us a little bit of background about Maxi's playstyle, what you think the best playstyle is for Maxi, and the playstyle that you would recommend for newer players and veteran players.
Alright. So my playstyle is a little more defensive. What I like to do really is, you know, against a lot of people, or if I'm playing against someone new, is I'll start off with pokes, like using his 1B, you know, his AA, or safer options like right out or AK, like things like that. And trying to create as many situations as I can and seeing if they're able to handle them well. And if I find out that my opponent doesn't know how to handle a certain situation, like if they're mashing at like -4 after I have them block that or something, then I'll try to take advantage of that and try to use that more.
Okay, so as a veteran Maxi player, you have done a lot of research on his neutral tools, his movement, on the best kind of way to play Maxi. For a new player, what would your advice be starting out?
So as far as neutral tools go, if you really want to get in, you have 668+B, which is this move. It has really good range. Yeah, it's pretty decent on hit. The pushback's kind of weird, so sometimes you have to block after hitting them, but yeah. It also mixes up with 668+BB, which I'll have them block. But yeah, this one's plus, right? So it'll mix up with that. The way you get around it is you step the second hit, but not too many people do that. What else is neutral? There's 6A+B. This tech crouch is super fast. It's a mid, knocks down, has pretty good Oki after. 2-2A is another one. Because it has great range and on counter hit, like since they might be moving a lot, and if they don't contain their movement too well, you get a really big combo. Something like that, a good 80-ish damage. But yeah, that's really nice too. Another good neutral tool is 1B, because there's no guaranteed way to punish it on block, because you can always like Heaven's Guard after, or any of his auto GIs after. Oh, there's that too. But yeah, those are the main ones I like using in neutral.
Okay. And for somebody who is maybe an intermediate or looking to get better at Maxi, what kind of playstyle and what sort of tools would you say that they should be using more of?
Okay, so yeah, once you start getting better at Maxi, for a stance game, I feel like it's based around being able to influence what your opponent can react to based on what they're predicting, right? So, take like behind lower, for example, right? I'll go B, loop forward into behind lower. Normally, both of these options are step duckable. But if you start using it less and just using it very sparingly and start mixing it up with like right cross K, it'll make it so that your opponent wants to step duck less, and so you could be able to throw people off, right? So they'll see behind lower, start a step duck, you do like that, behind lower into neutral guard, and so by the time they're done step ducking, right, like that's gonna realign. That's gonna realign, things like that. So yeah, that's just being able to take it to the next level against someone who knows how to play against Maxi very well. Another thing, like just in general, you can do is you can move from like just looping in general after your string starters, like this one, to going for his counter hit game. So say you do 66A plus B and you start out with like looping and behind lower or whatever, doing that, right? So they're gonna want to start swinging into you more. So what you can do about that is you can work his stance counter hit game. So like right after BB, you get a really good combo for that. And I feel like that's what really the character is designed around, is trying to get counter hits from people who want to interrupt you at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Anything else about his playstyle?
No, I think I covered
pretty good.
Most of it. Yeah.
Well covered. Perfect. So, moving on from playstyle, we're going to talk about Maxi's strengths, weaknesses, and counterplay. So, it's a fairly difficult subject to talk about counterplay regarding Maxi, other than the meme of just, be patient and try and interrupt. But Rich, obviously you're the one to give us the insight on this, so let us know what his strengths, weaknesses, and his counterplay are.
Alright, so I feel like one of his biggest strengths is that he's super counterintuitive to play against, right? Like, you'll hear a lot of people say that you can't really whiff punish Maxi. So, here, I'll just have the bot do something.
That is one of the biggest things people say, is that Maxi is unwhiff punishable.
Yeah. Right, so I'll just have him do that into Heaven's Guard. And so Heaven's Guard's like one of the main tools, which makes people want to say that in the first place.
Of course.
Alright, so yeah, I'll just have him whiff that. I got a whiff punish, I'm suddenly Heaven's Guarded, and he gets neutral guard a lethal hit from that if it triggers. So, yeah, the way around that, though, is being able to confirm whether or not he's able to auto-GI in time. So, yeah, Maxi has recovery just like every other character before he can do the auto-GI. So I'll just try to do that. And you see, like, he wasn't able to auto-GI or Heaven's Guard or any of that because I hit him before he could even start it. And that applies to pretty much most of his moves when they whiff. But being able to know that is what's super hard about playing against Maxi, especially if you don't play him yourself. Another strength. Yeah, his good poke tools. His whiff punishment is pretty good. There's some launchers where he gets good Oki. He gets good Oki off of 6A plus B too. His throws are nothing special. But yeah, I'd say like the number one main strength is like not only how creative you can get with him, but like how counterintuitive he is to play against.
So basically, if you want to play an incredibly creative character who allows you a lot of freedom in how you play, Maxi's the character for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And moving on to his weaknesses, what would be some of the glaring weaknesses that people don't really understand about Maxi? Because, he is very much a knowledge check character, like you were saying. That the move you were using was 4-4-B, which has a fair bit of recovery. So if you're able to confirm or react quickly enough, you will be able to get a punish. But what are some of the other weaknesses that the character has in terms of recovery, in terms of being able to be whiff punished himself, etc., etc.?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I feel like one of his big weaknesses is his soul charge. His soul charge is still like really good. Compared to like, normal Maxi, but compared to most soul charges in the game, it's not really amazing. I think one of the big reasons for that is because it drains so fast, right? Like, on the soul charge, you want to do a 6A plus B, right? Like, once it's all over with, it drains like a fourth to a third of your bar, and then you don't really have Oki to follow up with. On top of that, like, a lot of soul charges, especially in Season 2, they're kind of like low risk, high reward. And I feel like with every option you have against Maxi, you're still taking like a pretty big risk. It's not like he really gets any amazing fast mid horizontal or anything like that. But yeah, you can still do work with it. It's still worth using, and yeah, it's all right. But in season 2, all right isn't really amazing.
When you're comparing soul charges like Sophie, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, another weakness. There's a lot of situations where his Oki isn't really great, and the main reason for that is because a lot of his combos end in left inner. So that means if you're not gonna go for a reset or anything like that, then chances are they're gonna be pushed out like way too far for any Oki. So yeah, I'll just have it set the counter hit. Like just an example of the 2-2A combo. Like not only can you AK me after that, but yeah, you get pushed back really far. So if I want to run up and hit buttons, chances are I won't have much advantage at all. So yeah, I think that's another big weakness. He still does have a decent Oki off of some setups, especially like his 3B. You have the 1B mixed with another 3B. Like that's pretty nice to have. But yeah, I'd say overall, compared to most of the roster, his Oki's kind of not too great. But I feel like those are the major 2 weaknesses he has.
Okay. And in terms of being able to, so just solidly looking at like, from a counterplay perspective, what are the main things that people should be looking out for trying to beat a Maxi even if they're not going into the lab and they're just fighting Maxis in ranked, or if they're fighting them in locals, what are the main things that they should be looking out for to counter?
One thing that I really don't see too many people do is trying to interrupt Neutral Guard and Heaven's Guard. So yeah, I'll have them do Heaven's Guard real quick and do a follow-up. And a lot of people will see Heaven's Guard and think that they have to guess right on a mix or something, but that's not always the case. So what you can do instead is like interrupt them. Like once you see the Heaven's Guard, you know, you can, like if you have a fast enough C, you can see him, or if you don't feel like reacting too fast, you could 2A him, do like a BB, things like that. Like just faster buttons, and then you suddenly don't have to take a mix up anymore. And if you're afraid of Heaven's Guard C, you can always step duck. And that'll also be all of the options while not getting hit by the Heaven's Guard C. I feel like if more people incorporate that, then their Maxi defense will get a lot better.
Okay. So Heaven's Guard, kind of, I know it's a meme, just react bro, but it genuinely is one of those mechanics where you have enough time to kind of see what you can do. And as Rich said, if you don't want to try and react with a harsher button, like an I-16 or an I-18 CE, then you want to try maybe a 2A, or if you've got a really, really good like solid I-14 mid, like 3K for example, that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
In terms of from Heaven's Guarding to all of the options, what's the shortest amount of time that an opponent has to interrupt? Because his quickest option would be Heaven's Guard or Neutral Guard A. How many frames is it, if you know, between the stance and the A option?
I can't name it off the top of my head, but if you feel like they're gonna see or Neutral Guard A, you're way better off just step ducking, because you're still gonna get a punish. Or at worst, like you're just gonna have to block Neutral Guard C, and that's like whatever. Like you basically got the Maxi player to waste a bar, so it's still favorable.
Fair, makes sense to me. So outside of Heaven's Guard counterplay, any other big things that you see people missing, or something that you want to see more of, so that it creates a more dangerous environment for the Maxi player?
I would say not swinging into left outer would be good, because left outer B counter hit does so much. I'll just do the combo as an example. Right. So left outer is the second hit of that. If I want to swing into it, even if it's with a tech crouch, because I'm afraid of left outer K, I'm going to end up taking way more damage than if I just want to try to duck left outer K instead. Because that goes from a potential 70-ish damage to 15 damage. I feel like that's another thing that people should avoid doing.
But that's just in general, not just specifically for left outer, just to avoid trying to swing in stances.
Yeah, there's some where it'll be okay, like if the transition doesn't have good frames or something, or if it's in like behind lower, for example, you're okay with swinging into, unless you're afraid of Heaven's Guard or something. But
Gotcha.
yeah, in general, left outer is like one of the major ones. Left outer and right outer are the major ones where you really want to think about pressing buttons into.
Okay, so just very quickly, if you could show them what the right outer stance is and what the left outer stance is, because, you know, us as Maxi players, we can say left outer and right outer and immediately know what that means, but a lot of people won't know. So if you wouldn't mind just showcasing what those look like so people can get that into their heads and know that that's what they need to avoid mashing into.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to use 5B to go into right outer just to demonstrate all the right outer moves.
Gotcha.
So from that, you have right outer K, which is this. It's a high that's +4 on block. You have right outer AK. You have right outer AK hold. And you have right outer BB. So all those moves are from right outer. For left outer, here, let's see. I'll use 4B for that one. So from that, you have left outer K, left outer B, and left outer AK. So yeah, if you see Maxi do any of those moves, it'll be from left outer.
And those are the ones you want to avoid mashing into. Lovely.
Yep.
Any more info you want to impart for strengths, weaknesses, and counterplay, or are we all good on that one?
We're good. Yeah, I think we're all good on that. Those are like the main things I wanted to cover.
Beautiful. So next up will be his combos, his tech traps, and his frame traps. We all know some of the counter hit, you know, some of the counter hit combos that we can get, especially from right outer or left outer. But the Maxi gods teach us what the most optimal combos, tech traps, and frame traps are for this pirate on the high seas.
Okay. So yeah, for whiff punishment, combos I like to use 4AB left outer B. It's a 24 frame, and it's also what I like to use for his level 3 GA. So yeah, it's just 4AB and then B. Looks like that. You get 74 damage. And what I like to do to end it is I actually like to do 4AB left outer BK. Because once they kill me or once they wake up, you're still at plus frames. So it's much better for Oki. What else? Let's do the CE combo. So...
Oh. I think we may have lost Rich temporarily. Please bear with me. Rich? Rich, come back. I hope that wasn't my Discord. Bear with us.
Okay.
Oh, we're back, I think.
Yeah, and then sometimes it janks out like that.
Oh, Rich, hold on. I think you might have cut out very, very quickly. Yeah.
Where did I stop at?
Oh, so you were saying you were going to do your... Hold on, the Discord stream is a bit juttery. Let's go full screen again. Oh, wow. Discord has decided that it doesn't like me today.
Here, I'll try to restart it.
Skipping frames. If you could, that would be great, yeah. Yeah, I don't actually know what happened there. That was very, very odd.
Huh.
Oh, there we go. We're back. Thank you for holding on, everybody. Slight technical hitches, as I mentioned before. Thank you for bearing with us. So, you're going to teach us the CE combo.
Yeah, for the wall. So yeah, it looks like this. Oops, gotta get him closer. Yeah, season 2 they kind of nerfed the range on it a little bit. Alright, so that's the one I like to do off the wall. And so what you want to do is the CE cancel into K. Then you do 4BB, and then another K. And then you do 6B plus KG, AA, and then B right after that. And that'll finish it. So yeah, it's a decent amount of buttons, but it's really easy to execute.
Want to show it to us one more time? Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the 4-4-B, you'll have to kind of wait because 4BBK gives you a different move.
Yeah. Wait a little bit and then do K. That's right. Yeah.
So that's your optimal wall damage combo from a Maxi CE.
Yep. And then if you have the right angle for it, honestly, you can do the version without the delayed K. You just have to make sure that Maxi is able to be walled again to your left, because then that K will work. Because it'll be like that instead. So yeah, either works as long as you have the correct angle for it.
Okay. Any other big boy combos? Maybe some of his 2-2-A combos?
Oh yeah. So max damage without a reset on 2-2-A would be this. Whoops. Oh, I dropped. Yeah, that's Maxi things.
Just Maxi things. Hashtag Okubo.
Oh, no.
Wow, Maxi doesn't want to get comboed by Maxi.
Yeah. I've only had it happen in training mode though, so at least there's that. But yeah, there you go. So what you want to do is do 2-2-A counter hit, and then 6B plus KG, move that looks like that. And then you want to do right cross AA, but you want to hold the second A of that. And then B, and then B again, basically. So it ends up looking like this. Sometimes if you do that tip, you're gonna have to step forward, neutral, and then do 6 B plus K, which could be a little hard to execute. So I'll just try to demonstrate that. Yeah, all you really have to do is make sure you hit neutral and you don't press anything, so that the inputs reset and you don't get 6B plus K when you run up and do it. So you do have time to do it though.
So if you whiff the 6B plus K, or you think you're a bit too far away for it, what can you do instead?
Oops. So like after you whiff the 6B plus K?
After you do the 2-2-A, if you're at tip range and you're not confident that you'll be able to get 6B plus K cancel, what's the other option?
Oh yeah, so you can do 4BB instead. That one's way easier to execute. So you just do that, run out 4BB, and then do that. And the reason why it's a lot easier is because you don't have to make sure neutral's out for too long. Like all you really have to do is just run out 4BB without thinking about the timing too much.
Gotcha. So now moving on to tech traps and frame traps. Does Maxi have any of either of them, and how do we execute them?
Yeah, Maxi has some tech traps. Here. One I really like is I'll just have him go forward. Is a 6-6B hold into behind lower B. So yeah, it's a lot of damage. Looks like this. There's actually a way to get more, so I'll just do it the other way. Yeah, so 135 damage. You really don't want to attack after 6-6B because yeah, you'll eat that. And so yeah, the way you do it is you do 6-6B hold, and then you want to do PSL 5, which is basically letting Maxi enter stance and then go on to the next one. So all you have to do is just delay it a little bit before you hit B. And so then it's just that. Then AA, B, B, and then another B. And so for the AA, you want to hold the second hit. And yeah, that's all you really have to do for that combo. Another tech trap is with 6-6A plus B. And so you can do that off of his 2-3-6K. and do that if they want to tech. So that's really good damage. You can also do that off a 2-2B. There's some characters where it won't work in this situation because of like their hitboxes and it'll just kind of whiff, but you don't end up like dying too hard for going for it. And so yeah, I'll just demonstrate that one more time. We do 6-6-A plus B after 2-2B. It's a really good combo. That one is one where they really want to tech after, or a lot of people want to tech after because they want to avoid like the 6-6 B plus K follow up, or they want to try to avoid like a 1B or something. So yeah, those are the main two tech traps he has.
So as an opponent fighting Maxi, your best bet on 2-2B and 6-6B hold is to just stay on the ground and take whatever Oki damage he could get you with.
Yeah, I would say that if you're at a farther range, because like if you're up close, the follow-ups like 6-6B plus K would connect. But if you're far, then they wouldn't, and you're only really risking taking more damage if you tag. So yeah, in general, what I like to do against it is just to stay on the ground.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, tech traps are there for a reason, and Maxi's got one of them that does 135 damage. So if you get knocked down by 6-6B on 6-6B hold on counter hit, don't tech back. Is that is the behind lower tech trap only on a back tech, or does it work on left or right?
It works on the sides too. Let me check if it's both sides. Okay, so yeah, it works on back. See, right? It might lose to left. I'll have to see. Yeah, it loses to left.
Okay, so if you get knocked down by 6-6B hold and you don't want to get tech trapped, best thing to do is to tech to your left.
Yep, and there's still a risk with that, right? Because you do that, then you go, if he goes into like a loop or neutral gut or anything like that, then you could get mixed up that way while you're standing, which is still a bad spot, but it's better than taking like 5 billion damage.
The 5 billion damage tech trap, too good.
Yep.
And the other one was 2-2B, if you wouldn't mind demonstrating that for us one more time, so they've got it in their minds.
Yep, this looks like that.
There you go, 2-2B into 6-6A plus B.
Yep.
And now we come to one of the best things Maxi's probably best at, is his frame traps. So he's probably got 4 million of these. I won't make you go over all of them, but some of the most prominent ones. Let the people know what they are and how they can deal with them.
Alright, so yeah, just have him attack. A really big frame trap is 6-6-A plus BB into left outer B, because that's going to be really big damage. Oops. Here, I'll have him do that. Yeah, you really don't want to, it's just another case of swinging into left outer. You don't really want to do that unless Maxi doesn't have good frames into it, because like if you're afraid of left outer K, you're way better off just ducking. Or if you're afraid of the B, well then you risk getting hit by the K. I don't really like the stepping left outer too much just because of that. But yeah, most of the time you'll see me duck against it or just stand guard to avoid that frame trap. Let's see. Another one's yeah, just BBB. Maxi's B is like super plus, so chances are you're not gonna want to swing into it. Right outer K is really the only thing that it's gonna interrupt, and even then, like if you want to AA out of that, then you risk getting auto GI'd. So I feel like after his B, you really don't want to press into it, and you want to see what he'll do instead. A similar one's 4-4-AB. Haven't blocked that. I think there's only like an I-12 gap that you can hit into it, but then you're risking getting auto GI'd once again for not too much damage. So yeah, this is another one where you really don't want to swing into too much. What else is there as far as frame traps?
You've got a 6-6B hold on block.
Yeah, for that one, most characters can just backstep out of it. So instead of swinging, you just want to backstep. If your character's backstep is good enough. If not, you just treat it like any other left outer transition where most of the time you want to duck against it. So yeah, those are the main times I frame trap people. 3-3 B-side A is one where it doesn't have a huge gap, but there is a gap. But if people want to swing like big moves into it, then they're gonna get counter hit. Like it trades with I-12, right? So if you want to do anything faster, then it might not be good for you. And even then, right, like you could get auto GI'd for like pretty huge damage. So
It's one of the most impressive loops in the game. I love it.
Honestly, yeah, and yeah, so it's not a great idea to press buttons after that either. But yeah, those are the main ones.
The main frame traps. Perfect. Thank you very much. And now moving on to our, I don't know what number this is, the next section, which will be his matchups. Now, this is always a very polarizing subject for every character in the game, but Maxi, you know, very much has been placed mid-tier in the current season of characters by a lot of people. You know, some people think he's too strong, some people think he's too weak, but he's been placed very firmly in the middle of the tier list, especially with his matchup spread. So if you can give us a bit of information about which matchups he excels in, which are absolutely terrible for him, and which he basically just goes 5-5 in.
Okay, yeah, so I'll start with the good ones. I feel like Maxi against Talum is his best one, and a lot of that is due to 6A plus B, because so Talum's Wind Charmer stance, it has a lot of options, but like on most transitions on block, pretty much all the options from Wind Charmer are beaten by 6A plus B, because its egg crushes at frame 4, and most of the fast options from that are highs. So really the only thing you have to worry about is Wind Charmer K, and unless you're at like the ring edge or a wall, it's not like too big of a deal to get hit by that, even counter hit by it. And if you have him doing Wind Charmer K a lot now, then all you have to do is step it, and you get to launch her for it. So risk to reward for her running her offense is in Maxi's favor in a lot of situations. On top of that, I feel like he has better neutral tools, better range, and yeah, like there's some tools that Talon has that also makes it hard for Maxi to run his stance game, but those aren't nearly as strong as the ways Maxi has to interrupt Talon's game. I want to say, like, outside of that, there aren't too many matchups that are very heavily in Maxi's favor. I want to say Taki's in Maxi's favor just because, like, he's able to space her out pretty well, and he has tools to interrupt a lot of her offense. Same with Yoshi. Maxi has a pretty decent time handling him. But yeah, I want to say those are like the main ones that are.
Okay, so Talim, like, he basically steamrolls Talim.
Yeah,
and then fighting Yoshi and Taki, he can use his backstep to space them out a bit more. He's got a bit more range than them. He's able to use that to his advantage to keep them at arm's length and then hit them with the loops.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, and what about his middling 5-5, 6-5 kind of matchups?
Yeah, I want to say like ones that are super even. Like I feel like for a lot of his even matchups, like the characters are either relative in strength or they don't really have tools that would make life too hard for each other to run their offense. So yeah, I feel like characters like 2B would be an even matchup. Who else? There would be Valdo's pretty even. Another one. I'd actually say Siegfried's pretty favorable, just because, yeah, that 4-4B with punish is nice on AGA. I'm trying to think of the rest of the roster. Grow's another even one, just because they really don't shut each other down too much.
So would you say, so you say the Maxi Siegfried matchup is like 5.5 in Maxi's favor?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more of the evens, or is it more polarizing at the bottom end where he kind of loses a bit more?
I'd say like most of the matchups in the roster are pretty even. but I just can't name like the entire roster off the top of my head right now.
What? This is what I invited you on for. Absolutely terrible.
I don't even know the roster.
Yeah, but you play them. All of them.
That's true.
Mr. Play the roster. So what would you say is his worst matchup, his absolute worst, if there even is a character that steamrolls him that hard?
Absolute worst? I want to say Ivy. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Ivy because she's able to backdash out of a lot of Maxi's backdash killers, namely like left outer B on a lot of transitions. On top of that, she's able to space him out. She has mix-ups at range 1, range 2, range 3. She's able to whiff punish him really well. That's another thing that's really important for playing against Maxi, and it helps a lot, is having good range whiff punishers. Because if you don't have that, then say I whiff like a 3B, right? Mm-hmm. Once you're in range, I could just come up and smack you with BB. Or once you're in range, like I might be able to AGI again. Like compared to the longer range characters, where not only would they not have to run up into my face, but they're more likely to hit me before I'm able to recover. So yeah, I feel like Mina's really good against Maxi for a similar reason. Not as much as Ivy, just because like her backdash isn't as good and her defensive tools aren't as good. Like she doesn't have Christmas tree or anything like that.
Oh, Christmas tree! We've all been a victim to Christmas tree.
Yeah. I feel like another good character against Maxi is Cervantes. Mainly because, like, yeah, he has that long range whiff punishment. His soul chart, like, I feel like Cervantes is just like straight up better than Maxi in a lot of ways as far as strengths. On top of that, a lot of Maxi's kit, especially in stance, is a light attack, like level 3 GI, things like that. And so that makes it really easy for Cervantes to land 2A+B lethal hit on him. So yeah, that's why I feel like that matchup's pretty hard. And I want to say another one that's hard for him is Zhanghua, especially because of her AGIs. Now, like in a lot of cases, Maxi does have counterplay for her AGIs, but like just the existence of them and the I-12CE and all of that makes it really like, risky for Maxi to try to run any sort of complex offense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cool, so there you go. Richsticks' take on the matchup spread. Relatively even across the board. But you do come across the longer range characters, like you said, Ivy and Mina, who are able to keep him at pretty much full weapon length for a lot of the time, unless unless the player is just able to hard read a lot of stuff and get in with some tech crouches or some really good block movement. Okay. So now, before we get to the conclusion, the most contentious subject of this entire tutorial: adjustments, buffs, nerfs, and changes. In your opinion, Mr. Richsticks, what adjustments, buffs, nerfs, and changes would you give to Maxi? Now, I know it's obviously it's hard for players to sometimes be very objective in their viewpoint about what they feel should be nerfed and buffed, but if you have any ideas about any of these things, please let us know.
Okay, yeah, so I feel like the main buffs I want for Maxi are mainly just bug fixes, really, because I feel like the character sometimes bugs out when he's whiff punishing. Like if B+K is at tip, for example, there's a chance it'll drop. I doubt I'd be able to like mimic it right now, but it happens pretty often in matches. And with the same move, if a character whiffs, sometimes they won't realign properly, and it'll end up whiffing that way. Same with 6A+B, like if a character whiffs, sometimes it'll just like straight up go right past them. If you want an example of that, you could see my games against Skill at CEO where that happened. I was like, ugh. I think I almost died that round because of it too. So yeah, there's that. I feel like as far as straight up buffs, he doesn't need too much, just because he is a mid-tier character. Like, if anything, I'd just like to see the low tiers made better and the top tiers made a little worse.
Okay.
But yeah, main things I just want to see are bug fixes. Oh, and also something that would really help with his Oki is if 1K consistently hit grounded. So he does have like a good low that'll hit grounded. Because if you want to hit grounded with Maxi, and not have it be rollable in a lot of situations, you gotta commit to the 6xb plus K. That's plus. So if 1K hit grounded, that would really make it like so you don't have to take too big of a commitment in order to enforce an Oki game. Outside of that, I just want to see a soul charge drain a little slower, just to keep it in line with everyone else's soul charge. But yeah, those are the main things.
Are there any, and again, I know this would be hard to say, but would you like to see anything reduced in strength is the better way to put it, rather than like a straight up nerf? Or do you think his tools right now fine as they are, and like you said, the only real thing he needs are bug fixes?
In the season 2 environment, I would say like he doesn't really need any reductions in strength. If Heaven's Guard existed in season 1, then definitely that would need to be toned down. But since in season 2, like in general, the path they wanted to take was lower risk for a good reward, then it falls right in line with it.
Right. So, and I'd like to go over this one more time. What your thoughts about Heaven's Guard and what they bring to Maxi as a character?
So yeah, I feel like I know I ironically say this a lot, but I really do feel like he needs it. It does cost half a bar, so instead of there being an increased risk, it's a cost instead of a risk. And so, yeah, it's really good to escape situations where otherwise Maxi would just have to take guaranteed damage. Like, let's say beforehand, right? I'll have this Maxi do this. And so, say like, you block this, right? In the mirror, Maxi would be able to get 1B for free, right? Because it's a low and he didn't really, have anything to auto GI, right? But with Heaven's Guard, oops. If I could do moves right.
High pressure environment.
Yeah, so yeah, with Heaven's Guard, I have to do that. I go for the 1B, now I have counterplay to it. So yeah, it just makes it so that if Maxi has half a bar and he wants to make a read, he now has the tool to make that read instead of being able to, or instead of just having to take guaranteed damage and not having counterplay for a lot of situations. So yeah, I feel like that really helps the character out and kind of makes it more true to the vision that I feel like the devs had for the character.
Well, there you go. He needs it, ladies and gentlemen. Maxi needs HG. Right, so we're going to move on to the final section, the conclusion to this first ever top tier tutorial. What conclusions do you draw about the character in general, Richsticks? Are you happy with where he is at the moment? Do you think you'd like to see him explored a little bit more? Do you think he's been explored to death? Just give us your overall thoughts on the character.
I feel like Maxi's one of those characters where, like, even 3-4 years from now, we're still gonna be learning new things about him. Cause, like, yeah, there's just so much depth to it. Like, there's like the shimmy loop and all that, and you know, deep loops, things like that. We're still working with it. We're still just now learning about more clash setups and things like that. But yeah, I feel like as far as going from season 1 to season 2. They not only improved the character a lot from being, in my opinion, one of the worst in the game to being a mid-tier, but I feel like now that he has more counterplay to a lot of situations, he's able to enforce a solid, like, direct game plan, which isn't as far into knowledge checking and just, oh, do you know the matchup, you win, do you not know the matchup, you lose kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like, even I feel like he can stand a chance against people whose Maxi defense really is like on the upper echelon of Maxi defense now compared to season 1. even though it is still like super hard to run an offense against them compared to most characters, like it's super doable now.
Well, there you go, everybody. Right. I think that's everything we have to talk about. Thank you very much, Richsticks, for being the first person on the first TTT. How have you enjoyed it? Have you hated it? Do you never want to come back?
Nah, I enjoyed it. Like they were all like super good questions, and honestly, like a lot of the questions made me talk about things that I haven't covered before, but I feel like are super important to talk about. So yeah, it was really good.
Gotcha. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And everybody in the chat, thank you very much for joining me as well. Please, 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 on Twitter or add me on Discord. Let me know what you'd like to see improved, if you think we're doing something well, just so we can make it the best experience for you. And also give me suggestions on certain characters that you would like to see tutorials on and players who you'd like to see give those tutorials. So Richsticks, anything you want to quickly shout out? Twitter, Twitch, Tinder, I don't know, whatever it is you do in your spare time.
No, getting on that. Just drop me a follow at twitter.com/richsticks.sc. I'm also on Twitch, twitch.tv/richsticks. Those are the main ones. Show us some love if you want. Really appreciate you guys coming out and all that. And yeah, I appreciate you having me here too.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to support the channel, please click that subscribe button to get updates every time I upload, but I also stream on Twitch and have a Twitter account. If you'd like to follow both of those, the links are on your screen and down in the description. Take care and stay safe.